This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, Boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill. You want to be my wife?
Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.
What is going on? Welcome to Take on the World with
Johnny D.
Nathan Blaze.
Deb Dougherty.
the award-winning broadcaster and Mike D.
Multi-award winning.
You're saying Mike D.
I said
Like
Mike
he's
D.
the other guy.
No, I said Johnny D. You were supposed to say Mikey.
What?
I don't know.
You just say John.
Yeah, sure.
You know my fucking name. Anyway, this is
This episode.
What is it? What is it?
100.
100 what?
And in honor of the 100th episode, I'd like to present you with
Yay!
one of your
What is
favorites.
that?
Frozen Tito's. It just so happens I have a glass with ice here.
A big,
Whoa.
Hey,
Oh,
coinky-dink,
magically.
turn it around so people can
bag
see
of
the label.
Tito's.
A nice glass of Tito's. How convenient.
It's
a
almost
miracle.
like I know what he likes.
Happy
Yeah.
100th, Michael.
Happy 100.
Happy 100.
So,
I guess it's kind of like a conglomerate.
a little house cleaning.
You need a puff.
We are a proud part of the Deluxe Edition Network,
Yes, we are.
and the Deluxe Edition Network is a group of podcasters who got together, who support each other and
Yeah.
promote each other. And so go to deluxeeditionnetwork.com, check out all the great podcasts, and while you're there, check out the 2 podcasts of the month, which is, you know what? I don't know if this is going to be out. Whew. This might be out next month.
Oh,
Since this episode was taped a month ago, our podcast of the month that we usually have right here is wrong. So I'm going to correct it by making a new one. So for the month of June, the podcasts of the month are Barrel Aged Chicks and Deep Dark Secrets. This must be Girls Month because these are all ladies in both of these podcasts. Barrel Aged Chicks gives you the chicks side of the movies and pop culture. The Deep Dark Secrets is a true crime podcast that focuses on death fetish pornography and the lowlives who take part in it and the murders that happen out of that industry. So when you go to deluxeeditionnetwork.com, click on podcast of the month, and these are your 2 podcasts of the month, and then you can go around, check around all the rest of them. I enjoy listening to both of these podcasts. I think you will too. So go check them out. Barrel Aged Chicks, Deep Dark Secrets. And maybe next month we'll get it right.
And next month, it'll be somebody else. So check them out anyway.
Yeah.
Both of those podcasts are great. I love listening to them.
And I think that's the really great thing about the Deluxe Edition is that they have podcasters from all walks of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All kinds of backgrounds. You guys work in corrections. You have other folks whose main living is barbershop.
Yeah.
I mean, right? I mean, think about it. What do the Deluxe Edition? They work all kinds of jobs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the fabulous thing because it brings people together who are from all different walks of
Everybody's
life.
got a different perspective.
Absolutely, and have different views on the world.
Even
and
if we cover the same topics, we cover them from our perspective, and
Yeah.
that's
it's
pretty
always
cool.
different. That is cool. That is absolutely
And everybody's so supportive of each other. I like that. Like,
Yeah, like
I mean, obviously, I'm not the most involved in everything, but just hearing about the way that everyone helps out each other, everyone promotes each other. It's not something that you get everywhere with all these organizations. Some of them are just organizations to be organizations.
Yeah, just to say I'm part of something.
I didn't know he was Canadian.
He is.
Organizations?
Is that wrong?
That's Canadian.
What?
Well, most North Americans say organizations. You said organizations.
Well, there happens
Just
to be some
saying.
Canadian podcasters on the Deluxe Edition
Absolutely.
Network.
All walks of life.
That
That's what we said.
was definitely
On purpose.
That wasn't on purpose at all. I have no idea what I'm doing.
So anyway,
Maybe we should change our name to All Walks of Life.
There you go.
All forms of life.
I'm good with taking over.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Yeah.
So deluxeeditionnetwork.com, check it out. Also, this 100th episode is brought to you by Copper John's.
Man, I'm smelling my beer
Beer
right
company.
now, and it smells delicious. I can't stop.
And John's got a tiny beard.
Yeah, I got a tiny little.
But he still puts them on
Can't even
and-
see it on the damn camera. It's there though.
It's
Nate?
right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not.
It's a little dark there. There's a little of the cheek.
Nathan, however, is remiss in putting the beard products on.
However,
I forgot to.
Nathan, oddly enough, Nathan has more growth than you do, John. I'm sorry
I
to say.
know, but I don't know if it's what I just never been able to grow.
I know a lot
Anything.
of men who have beard envy for Nathan, for a 20-year-old young man who can grow a
He's
beard
got
like
that bear
that.
beard, just
Yeah,
like his
he
dad.
grows
I know,
it.
and this is it trimmed. Actually, it needs to be shaped up again, but
Well,
it was
and
longer.
And where did you go to
should
get it
mention,
trimmed?
where did you go to get it trimmed?
The Red Horse,
Red
Red
Horse,
horse.
which
I
is
was gonna-
horsing around.
Yes.
But the Copper Johns, man, I'm telling you what,
I love the smell of it.
the smell is fantastic.
Wait till tomorrow. You're gonna grow up. You're gonna grow a beard.
No,
like
it doesn't make you
Nathan.
grow a beard. Nothing can make you grow a beard.
No, it just makes your beard.
It just makes it
manlier.
luscious and soft and beautiful.
It's very soft. And I always had a problem with the like especially right here, like the hairs would go like wild, just like stick up. And it's just like, so I'd always shave it off, and there's nothing like to tame it. But
So you know why? Or
because
should I
I
say
grow a terrible beard.
no? Because it's the same kind of hair that grows from your pubes. Dude.
I've always said, you said
Just
it first.
saying.
He said it in the last episode.
I have a
Oh
pube
my
beard.
God.
That's
So-
why.
There is a direct link below in the description to get you a discount from Copper John's Beard Care.
It smells delicious.
And I'm going to be throwing a commercial in later, so pay attention.
Ooh, commercial.
So, we are here for our 100th episode, and I asked, of course, John, who's my regular co-host, and Nathan, who co-hosted a few of the Take on the World standard podcast, and
Yeah.
Nathan and I do
You know
the
what?
Nerdcast together.
This is the first time I think all four of us has been on together.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I think so because
Minus
the only other time
Lex.
I was on with you was with a V.
oh my god.
That's going back.
Where the hell did we talk about on that episode?
We did a beer
Beer.
review.
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
We did a beer review of people who don't drink craft beer trying craft beer.
Okay.
And,
And-
she is absolutely a convert now.
Yes.
She
yeah.
was totally open to it.
She's got a stash.
She
Oh,
was,
oh.
and every time we go someplace, she's like, "Oh, let's try a microbrewery," and she doesn't always like the beer, but she likes the experience of trying them.
We converted her with age right theory.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did. That was our first one. So,
Mm.
and then we have Deb Dougherty, the award-winning retired professional broadcaster.
Multi-award winning.
Multi-award.
And me, Mike D. Yeah, golf clap.
Mhm. It's only the culmination of a 30-year career, but whatever.
Whatever.
So I asked, we were hoping Lexi could make it, but she could not.
Sadly not.
Our former co-host to sit in, and we're going to just talk about our last 99 episodes. So this is 99 episodes of Take on the World on the Wall.
+1.
+1. So I'm going to start off by like one of our most popular episodes was the World War II serial killer, Dr. Satan.
Dr. Satan.
If I look at our
Which I don't think I was there for that one.
yes, you
was
were. Yeah,
I? Well, I was there.
you may not have
Half
been
there.
fully there, but you were there.
I've heard that, John, that you're only half there for most of the episodes.
So
Well,
that
that's
was
my MO.
that was our most downloaded episode. And I was going to ask John what he remembers about that episode, but apparently nothing.
Nothing. He clearly doesn't.
Well, hang on. Give me some pointers. Like, something will come to mind.
That was the Peru.
What?
The French guy. What that kept calling him?
Oh God.
Nope, he doesn't have it.
Nope.
Why don't you
No.
review it?
Well,
for
he's
us,
not.
Mike?
He's not really giving me anything.
He was the French World War II doctor who was killing people.
Oh, he handed out all the white flags.
Yes, the white
Yes.
flag guy.
Yeah, I got it now.
Okay, episode.
There.
Done.
Well, okay. Let me tell you this. How do I remember some of our very first episodes
I don't know how I remember.
that we
Yeah.
couldn't even air?
Shit
No.
show.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Shit show.
So
Yeah.
in our first 10 tapings, we probably had to drop 6 of them.
Because you're like, dude, all you did was sit there and talk about your blank about the blank and blank. It was ugly.
And that's what's hard for me because I come from a broadcast radio background and you can't talk like that.
No.
Right.
I mean, that is a huge
Yeah, you'd be thrown up.
no-no.
You'd be fired in a
There's-
heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much you can't say on broadcast radio, which I'm a huge fan of. I'm a huge fan of AM radio because that's where I grew up.
But you're a fan of podcasts too, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's
go.
a place
There
for
we go.
everything.
I think I like the number one because I'm a foul mouth asshole. But I like the podcast form because I don't have to censor myself.
But you're an
Right.
avid talk radio fan.
Yes, I've always listened to talk radio.
I've sometimes, even though I don't adhere to it very strictly, I do try and not use like profanity because I feel like
John.
it's
John,
too easy.
I've listened to the podcast.
Well, no, I'm not going to say podcast because I kind of let loose. But like in my daily life, like I try not to use profanity, even though I still do. But I feel like it's too easy, and it's
One of the things that sticks with me is someone told me one time that people of intelligence don't need to use profanity.
right.
But
There are
there
a
is
lot of other words.
there's actually a study that people who use profanity are more intelligent.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you listen to people when they like, you've all heard them when they like every other word is a curse word or something. You like,
Why you gotta attack me, bro?
no, you're not. No,
I
You're not-
just
you're not
I
like
just
that.
listened.
When I get mad, I am.
I just listened to a comedian who was talking about the banning of
George Carlin.
no, the Christmas song.
Oh, which one?
12 Days of Christmas.
No.
No.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Oh,
for
that
God's sake.
one.
And he compared it to wet pussy.
No way.
No,
and
no.
that's
What he was saying is they're
is
banning that song, but this song
this is the
okay.
number one song on the
Well,
radio.
yeah,
at the same
right,
time.
right. No, I heard the same thing you guys are talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I think he's totally correct.
he is correct, and I
Like,
thought about that.
WAP is way like, how do we let that slide in society? When
At
she's
the same time, you're banning something like
from 50
"Baby,
years
it's
ago.
cold outside."
Like, hey, I'm just trying to get laid. Was he really trying to get laid?
Well, the
Who
only
knows?
thing
But
I
yeah,
can say,
I mean, this song is about being
but it's
amorous.
It's consensual,
Right.
Yeah,
It's
but
absolutely
maybe he just wanted to
consensual.
spend the night at her house, not basically like,
Wait.
No, he wanted her to spend the night at his house,
or
but it's
whatever. But
consensual.
But it's like the conflict of
I think you want to go
of
like,
people in love, you know, whether they're ready to take that step, or that's the way I look
yeah,
at
but
it.
it's not like
He's
he
not
sat there.
forcing himself
No.
on her.
Yeah, like he's
Absolutely
like, I'm gonna
not.
hit you over the head with a tire iron and rape you.
Right. If
You know?
one is a
Unless that's what you
trigger-
want. But if that's what you want,
Unless it's super cold outside.
I'm not gonna
people are-
judge, but
oh baby, it's super cold outside. Let me get tire iron.
Hey, what's that over there?
But both are consensual.
Does this rag smell funny?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
If one's a trigger,
it's
they should both be
is,
a trigger.
Like, how can you go from that to something that's so much more vulgar, like wet ass pussy? Like, how is that even played on the air?
But that's not what we're talking about, and I took us off track because
Well, that's
you
what
guys,
we are talking about.
You guys don't get I come from a background of opinion radio.
Yeah, we don't do politics.
You
we don't do religion.
politics. You don't do opinion. You just do.
We could do politics, but
It would be
it,
ugly.
it would get ugly.
I think it's just like it would probably start to be like all of us screaming at each other at the same time.
I don't think so because I think we're on the same page with most things.
You think
until
so?
we get to that one
most
thing.
things.
That one.
There'll be that
thing.
one thing that we don't agree on. I don't think we'd scream at each other.
No,
I like you too
don't.
much.
I don't hate anybody enough to.
I don't
scream at
either.
them.
I don't hate anybody who's a different opinion than me.
I have friends who very
You just hate-
much have a different opinion than me on most things, and we get along just fine.
I mean, if you want to talk politics, we'll go there.
No,
But
Not here. Not here. Not
Not
here.
in this form.
That's my background.
well, maybe we should have the take on the world politics side.
Nope.
Take on the polls.
Why you hate Polish people, dude?
No, not
What the
nothing-
hell,
I have
dude?
Nothing.
You weren't raised like that.
I have nothing against the Polish.
Your
I have
grandfather
absolutely
used to
nothing.
say you were Polish,
Really?
even though you're Austrian
German. He's German.
from your side. Heil.
Have anyone of you
Whoa,
done a
whoa.
DNA test?
My mother did. My mother did a DNA test and it came back like 90% Bavarian German.
If
Wow.
our kids have any diversity, it comes from my side of the family.
Absolutely.
What's your background?
My mom used to tell
Russian?
me we were Heinz 57.
Okay.
My dad's
So we're ketchup.
grandparents were from
Not we.
Austria,
We're German.
and then the rest of them were Pennsylvania Dutch. And my mom's family was
French. There's some French in there.
French, Scottish. They were really a mixed bunch.
But
so
the thing
my
is,
family is Heinz 57.
The same thing with my family, where they were from in Germany. At one point was part of France. At
And
one point it was
Switzerland.
Switzerland, because the borders changed so much.
I used to always tease him
Oh,
that he should start yodeling.
because there's a Yerk Zellner in my
Yerk Zellner. Whoa! You didn't tell me about. You didn't tell me about Uncle Yerk.
great uncle Yerk.
Yeah, sweat.
Yole.
But they say that the Germans are basically from Scandinavia. So I'm a Viking.
Well, and you
I'm a
look
Viking at heart.
You cherry pick what you want to.
I did read something about that recently, but I can't remember. But it was about
Yeah.
there's something you can do to find out like a percent of whatever you are is Viking. Don't ask me, I can't remember.
I think
No.
the one half of my father's side is Ukrainian. My mother's side is way more hard to trace.
Mhm.
Like I think it's English with a little bit of Irish and Polish.
Well, I can tell you my family identified as Scotch-Irish, and it was immigrants who came here before the United States was the United States. They didn't want to be considered Irish. They originally immigrated from Scotland to Ireland and from Ireland here after generations. And it's only a percent of people who identify as Scotch-Irish because they immigrated here during a certain period.
Yeah.
And it was before the United. So his family and my family, much of them were here
Before it was America.
before it was America.
Well, that's what they say. Like pretty
Which
much
makes
the
us
whole
Native
East
American,
Coast?
in my opinion.
Yes.
But
the
that's
southern East
political.
Coast from
Yeah.
We're not talking about that.
I'm just saying, how many generations of your family have to be born somewhere before you claim it?
the whole
That's
southern
shouldn't
East Coast
be political.
is
I'm gonna eat a pretzel.
The
No,
whole southern.
don't.
Do not do it. It is forbidden.
I'll trade you your vape for a pretzel.
You're forbode from the pretzel.
So I can eat the pretzel if I give you
Yeah.
my vape?
If you let me turn your mic off.
No
Go
way.
ahead.
Let her eat the pretzel.
Gotta eat the
No.
pretzel.
Still getting it.
So I don't know if you know this, but
I
like
still hear it.
the whole like southern east coast of America is predominantly that's where the Scotch settled.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of history there.
What's going on, everybody? My name is David McClam, and I am the host of True Crime and Authors Podcast, the podcast where two passions becomes one. One week, I'll bring you a true crime case, one that you may know and one that you may not. And the next week, I'll bring you an interview that I've done with an incredible author. I also have a segment called Extraordinary People that deals with people that's been through some things in life, but they tell you how they've overcome to become the successful people that they are. So if you love true crime, if you love to read, and if you love to hear inspirational stories, how life has gotten the best of some people, but they were able to overcome, then this is the podcast for you. True Crime and Authors. I'll see you there.
Face it, dating sucked in your 20s, gets worse in your 30s, and your 40s, forget it.
It's a cesspool out there, and we're your flotation device.
Join us weekly for saucy chat, ridiculous love gurus,
And MILF-worthy fun to spice up your life.
the MILF and Me podcast. Every Wednesday on your favorite pod platform.
And the MILFandMePod.com.
The MILF and Me podcast.
We're here to talk about Copper John's Beard Company. I bought some of this stuff and I love it. Everybody has their favorite beard care products, but if you want to save a few bucks, use TOTW 10 at checkout or use the quick link below and buy some of this great stuff. Like,
Look at that beautifully tamed bare mane, so soft. And you know, my beard, if you want to call it that, it's more like pubes on my face.
see, he doesn't use it. I
Um,
do.
it gets wiry. So if I can just tame that a little bit, put more Copper Johns on there, and it's perfect.
And even though I have thick hair, when I put it on, my hair is nice and soft.
Yes.
Soft to the, you want to touch it, Johnny? Go ahead. Go
Mm.
ahead. Don't touch me.
Like,
Absolutely. You know
like,
what? And I'll tell you
understand,
something.
well, like, how to
In the South-
how to blaze a trail. Do you know where that came from?
No.
So a blaze, when you
Blaze.
when you blaze a trail, you knock a piece of the bark off a tree
Yeah.
and you mark your trail. So the blaze is what they would call it when a horse had a white mark on its forehead.
Yes.
That was called a blaze.
Okay.
So that's what they use to blaze a trail.
You know what else is called a blaze?
Nathan.
Nathan Blaze.
Nathan Blaze.
but in a
Ask
different
him
way.
why.
Why?
You see, the story goes long ago.
Oh,
when I
tell
was
me.
Years.
when I
Dude,
was
I should
but a
not be here
wee
for this.
lad.
When I was a wee lad, when I was just a sparkle in my father's eye.
My
That was a little
You know,
fart in the bubble
my
tank.
parents, they were discussing what to pick for my name. So my mother picked my first name.
Oh, you were almost Blaze.
No.
Yes,
His middle name is Blaze.
my
His
middle
middle
name
name
is
is
Blaze.
For real?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because my mother picked my first name, and my father thought, what would be a good wrestler name? So in his infinite wisdom, he bestowed upon me
The title of
the title of Nathan Blaze.
That
True
you know what?
story.
That's a great name.
I'm telling you, it's a great name.
Nathan Blaze.
I wanted him to be the third.
He should have been. He should have been Michael the Third.
He should have been Mickey.
See, now I'm John. I'm John like the fourth, but I'm not called John like the fourth. No, I would have been. I'm sorry. I would have been Michael the fourth, but my mom was like, I don't want him named Michael. I want him named after my dad, John. So I'm named after my mom's dad, John.
Well, John was a name that we tossed around for him
No.
Oh, I'm not a John.
because of my
I'm
grandfather.
not a John.
But we discounted it pretty quick because, well, John's a stupid name.
He was almost Zachary. He was Zach for
Yeah.
a while.
I am not a John. I am not a Zachary.
You're a Nathan.
I could see you as a Zach.
Really?
Yeah.
ZZ.
Are you okay? You want anything? Let me
Zach's-
take a look at those eyes. There.
Zach's not a bad name. What could you see me as?
I can see you as a Michael.
I was supposed to be a Michael.
I wanted a G name for a while.
Gavin.
Gee.
He was Gavin. He
Ugh.
was
See, here's how we picked his
Zach.
name.
He was.
She would pick a name, and I'd say, "This is how kids are going to make fun of him." So
True.
So I don't even, like, especially with Lexi. It was a lot with Lexi. We did that.
It was.
But I did the same thing with Nathan. Like, I don't want like when we picked Nathan or Nathaniel, I didn't want kids calling him Nate. I don't particularly like that. Now he has friends who call him Nate, and I'm okay with that because he's okay with it.
Yeah.
But as like growing up, I said everybody's going to shorten your name someplace. I'm Michael. Everybody calls me Mike. He's Nathaniel. Everybody called him.
How the fuck did I get my name Longend?
What?
Longend? Is that a word?
Longend.
Who the fuck called you that?
No, it's my name's your name's shortened. My name's Longend.
Oh,
So,
so
I'm
people
John.
call
I
you
call you
John.
Johnny.
Oh, well, because it's a Johnny. Because you're so cute.
I've always been called
You
Johnny.
got a baby face.
Johnny.
It's because you're a baby face, Johnny.
Do I still have a baby face?
That's not a man name. Does anybody call him Mikey?
What do I have to do to get rid of
No.
my baby face?
Two people call me Mikey.
Who?
Tony
I sometimes call him
Well,
Mikey.
Tony can all call anybody anything he wants.
and Marty.
Marty
And-
could call anybody
And
anything.
Marty's Mikey card got passed on to John. John's allowed to call me Mikey. But
I've
no one
never
else
heard-
at work will call me Mikey.
I've never
Well, it
heard you
depends
call
when
him
I
Mikey.
when I call him Mikey. It's only
Yeah.
certain circumstances. Like if he's in a bad mood, I don't call him Mikey.
Now his dad's family calls him Miggy,
Miggy. Because
Miggy.
they're Dutchies.
and that's what they
And
called
I
him
was
when he was
I was
little.
little Miggy. Because there was my dad who was Mike.
And he was Miggy.
I was Miggy.
So what's your nickname?
My name's Deborah. Deborah. Everyone at work loves to call me Deborah.
Deborah.
My grandmother used to call me Deborah, but my
Really?
name is Deborah.
Short Deb.
When
There's
I
nothing
was
else?
Little Debbie.
when I was young, I was Debbie. When I was a kid, everyone in my family called me Sissy because that's what my brother called me, Sissy. But now they're all gone. So
little
Deb,
sissy.
I had a couple
Sissy.
of great names for my sister.
Somehow
you
I
did.
didn't think they were appropriate for this.
Her name was Michelle. I was Michael. And I would always call her Shelly.
She hates Shelley.
She hates it.
I had
And when I was a kid, I'd call her Smelly Shelly.
Of course you did.
so I have two
Now
sisters.
I'm
what
starting to
little brothers
realize
are
why
for.
she threw you through a window.
I have two sisters.
Door. It was a
Glass
door.
door. Glass
My
door.
youngest sister, Jenny, is her name.
Is
Nobody-
her name Jenny or Jennifer?
No, Jenny, not Jennifer. I'm not
Jenny,
Jonathan.
I know what love is, Jenny.
Oh, she'd hate that too. Like, hello, Jenny.
Hello, Jenny.
But
Sorry, I ruined your Black Panther party.
we used to call her Ethiopian baby because she was so skinny and she didn't eat anything.
That's horrible.
Yeah, we used to call her Ethiopian baby, and she would get so mad.
She older or younger?
She's older
That's
than me.
horrible.
She's 2 years older than me. Yeah.
So back to Take on the World.
Oh, yeah.
100th episode.
100.
Celebrating.
We're reflecting on our greatness.
So when we came up with the concept for this, Johnny and I were talking at work, and we would always have these conversations, and we've gone over this a couple times in the podcast. We've always had these conversations at lunch, and like someone's like, oh, that should be a TV show. Just because we're goofy as fuck. We talk about the stupidest shit. Johnny makes up the most ridiculous facts.
What? No, they're not facts if they're ridiculous.
No, they're facts.
Also, I remember it was you guys be like, all of a sudden you went from here
Yeah.
to here
Any
You went from
conversation you have with John could be
real
right here
to Johnny.
to super gay.
Well, I think some of the best concepts come from that water cooler talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what this was started as. And it's evolved into like I have I have a passion for knowledge.
Hours and hours of research. It has
Yeah.
evolved.
You know what I
Evolved
think
into
one of
hours
my
and hours
favorite
of
things to do in the morning now is
Sleep?
I can
Oh.
fuck you.
Day drink?
No.
No.
Never.
No.
Did you just me?
That's my
She's
latest
like shaking.
addiction.
She's like, fork that fucking thing over, bastard.
Apparently, it's John's fault. We've decided.
Yeah.
I,
You're gonna have to fight me. He yells
I
at me all the
thought-
time. He's like, no, you can't have any more. I'm done.
John,
I'm like, I'm cut off. But your stuff is so good. No, one of my favorite like I tell stories of my dreams. And I want to do
Jesus.
I want to do a
You don't want to tell those dreams, bro.
I can't remember most of my.
I
dreams.
remember all
Oh,
my dreams.
I remember a lot of my dreams.
I have
I
a
don't.
I have a lot
I-
of interesting dreams, and I mean, I probably shouldn't talk about them on air because some of them are kind of concerning.
Dude, we should do an episode on like my dreams.
Not your dreams, dude. You do not want to put that out in public.
Oh,
Yeah.
It could be fodder later.
Well, no,
It's fodder now.
no, I mean, like it's not nothing incriminating or
Get
anything
arrested
like
by
that.
the Reading police lately?
It's usually just like the last one I had. I wrote it down, and it's like I had like a little notebook like that. It's like 5 pages,
That's a good idea because otherwise you won't remember them.
and I'm telling you,
Dude,
it was,
we could write a movie out of your dreams.
I remember it. It was so intense, and I think we should cover a like what makes you dream, what makes you remember dreams, or what anything like dreams like that.
That could be interesting because there's a lot that goes into dreaming.
Yes.
And I mean, science nerd.
Michael,
But there's a whole lot. There's a lot that goes
Yeah.
into dreams, the science behind dreams, what they mean.
yeah, is it fully
everything.
understood?
No,
Well, it's usually
it's
something
subjective.
unresolved.
It's very subjective.
Yes.
I think it
It's
has
the
a lot
latest
to do
thinking.
because like guys are like, what did you watch before you went to bed that night? And I was like, well, I was watching like a movie on like aliens or something, or a YouTube video about the apocalypse, and like I'll have something very close to a dream of that.
See, I'm not like that. Like my dreams, like what we just talked about one in the last episode where I was working on the grounds down by where the range is, and I got shot.
Yeah.
And like my whole dream was me struggling to get the machine back to the shop to get help because I got shot. That's my whole dream. So
see, I hate that.
that-
I
that-
hate those dreams where like you're struggling, like you're struggling to punch,
yeah,
you're struggling to run.
But that's
You're
those are unresolved issues. Like
No, I don't think-
I ascribe. To
Here's
the
what I
belief.
think.
Well, fuck you, John. This is what I think. No, most of the
and
time,
that's how it is at the water cooler.
your dream is what you're struggling with in your everyday life.
You see,
Well, that not only that, but also you got to keep this in mind is yes, your body is pre-designed to not like punch or roll off the side of the bed so you don't get hurt. So you're immobilized. So therefore, if you're having a dream of like trying to be in a fight, like you can't swing, you're immobilized. So you're always struggling to like try and run or do something because your body doesn't want you to like fucking get up and run off the side of the bed and run into a wall or something or whatever. You know what I mean? Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Sometimes,
I-
when I was a kid, I used to sleepwalk though.
I did a couple times, but I think like the science behind dreams is like a big old pot of soup. Some of it, there are some things that just make sense.
Monster
There's
cheese.
like about
Soup.
it has to do with your stress. It has to do with the fact that you can't
Salt.
move. It has to do with
What
things
you're
that
not
happen in your
processing.
day, and then there's just some things that are just there.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. It's a mixture of both.
Like I don't think everything in dreams can be explained. I
Well,
think some
oh,
of it
I
is
think it
just
can.
dreams.
Like I wish I would have brought that what I wrote down in that one dream that I had. It was just completely insane.
But there are reoccurring dreams, and there
Yeah.
are common themes to
Yes.
dreams. Like I used to always have a dream that my teeth were falling out, and that's a bad omen.
I had a recurring dream where it was almost like I was in the Terminator 1 movie, and me and Sarah Connor
Come with me if you want to live.
No, listen.
Yeah, that's called a fantasy, John.
No, this is probably like I would say reoccurring on the fact that I've had this dream 3 times. Okay.
Sarah Connor.
So we were running from the Terminator, very scary, and we would lock ourselves into this like
embrace
cabinet. And
No, that's your dream, Michael.
There was something that spilled on the floor, and she was picking the little pieces up, and one piece she dropped, and the Terminator saw that we were in there. Now all 3 of the dreams that I had, the Terminator came in there, like ripped her apart or something, and then we somehow survived or whatever. But I think it was just last night I had this dream. It was the same thing. She picked the pieces up, she dropped it, and the Terminator ripped through the thing. But Reese was there, and he had a gun, and he was shooting the Terminator, and he had a handgun in his holster, and I grabbed it out of his holster, and I sat there and I shot the Terminator, and we ended up killing it.
You shot the handgun like this?
Well, I was like a laser gun, whatever.
Well, that's the term. Pew, pew, pew. Like,
but anyways, to long story short, we how weird is that? Like, I've had this recurring dream where something always happened. I knew it was going to happen in the end, but this 4th time, like, I changed the dream.
Well, and that's not everyone can control their dreams. Can you control your dreams?
I wouldn't say I can't control my dreams.
Do you dream in color?
Yes,
because a lot of people do not.
I dream in full color. I can go to sleep, dream. I can wake up, go to the bathroom, and go right back into the same dream.
I can too. And sometimes,
like multiple times.
If I don't like the way a dream is
I don't get
going,
up and go to the bathroom, so I don't have that problem.
I say, I don't like this. Like if I'm having a nightmare, I think, fuck no, I don't like this. I'm changing it, and I can change my dream.
See, no, I can't. I don't think I can do that. Like I've had dreams where they're just genuinely boring. I don't like, or they're just not going my way, and it drones on, and it's the same thing.
If I'm interpreting dreams, like the Terminator is a problem, and you are overcoming your problem.
It ain't a problem for me.
But like with changing dreams, when I was little, it was very weird. If I'd be having if I'd be having a dream that I didn't like, it was like a layer. So I'd step back a layer,
like an onion.
Yeah,
onions have layers.
I'd step back a layer back into reality in my bed, but I'd still be sleeping. Now this is where my goofiness comes through. In my head, I was rolling in the bed. I was rolling, turning in the bed to change the dream channel, like a knob on a radio. And then I'd go back in the layer and it'd be a different dream.
See, I'm going to analyze that for you. You're crazy.
You ever catch yourself? Like I've caught myself a couple times. Like I'm like a full, like I'll swing on you in a dream. Like I've woken up and I've like able to break out of that consciousness and just like, I woke myself up the one time and I like punched the side of the wall and I'm like, oh my God damn it.
I've woken up a couple times where I'm yelling in the dream and I'll be yelling for him and I'll be like, Mwah!
Yeah.
So you're not really able to give full voice.
You can't,
but I'm calling for help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That'll be an interesting episode.
I think I've done all those things. Like I've definitely woken myself up yelling, screaming, or calling for help. Vividly remembering my like.
I do vividly remember most of my dreams.
Just the last 2 days.
I don't remember the end, like when I start waking up, but I remember the whole thing. I've had reoccurring nightmares, like the same thing over and over. And normally I'm able to steer my dream. I don't want to say change it, but steer it. But that one nightmare that I used to have, I couldn't do anything. Like everything it was the same thing every single time. I couldn't change a step. I couldn't step out of.
Well, that's what I was telling you with like that's the only way I can describe it was like the Terminator thing. It wasn't like the Terminator. It was like some kind of force or something
But
was
that's a
after us.
problem. Like the Terminator is
Not a
not the
problem for me.
Terminator. It's a problem. It's whatever is in front of you.
Right. You guys ever had an outer body experience?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
What was yours?
You really want to know?
Yeah. Because I've had one too.
You'll think I'm nuts. When I had surgery, and I absolutely had an out of body experience where I was someplace that was not here, and my father was there.
Okay.
And I remember it was like ice. It wasn't cold, but it was like everything was frozen.
What did you see?
I saw my dad, but it wasn't my dad. And he showed me other people.
Was it like what was like background other than your dad?
It was ice. There was nothing. And there were other people there. And I remember my dad said to me, "Do you know who this is?" And there was a person in front of me, and I don't remember what it looks like, but I just remember it was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. And it was a person that I knew who in life was just twisted and had a lot of mental health issues, but she was beautiful where I was. And he said, "This is that person." And I remember feeling that everyone who I loved was there. And I remember feeling at peace. And I remember saying to my dad that my kids were still young. I had my husband. And I just felt like that. What I remember most from that experience was that no matter what happened to me, everyone else would be okay. That they would figure it out. That whether I stayed or went, everybody would be okay. That everything would be okay. That everything was held in God's hands. That no matter what happened to me, they would be okay.
Now, when you had this, did you go to sleep when you had this?
I was out.
So before you went to sleep, did you feel anything weird?
No. No, when I went in for and I don't know if it was, it was after my surgery that I had this experience.
Okay.
But I just remember peace. That's what I remember most from that experience is just a peace that I have never felt in my life here. That no matter what happened to me, everything else would be okay. Whether I lived, whether I died, no matter what happened to me, everyone would be okay. That they were all held.
Wow.
Nathan, like you had this a similar surgery to her. Did you have any experience like that?
I don't think like those first couple weeks, well, that the first 3 or 4 days, I barely remember anything at all. Like I was talking to my friends, like I apparently like the day after the second day there, I was on the phone with them talking to them. I don't remember that.
No. That was like 3 or 4 days in before you talked to Chris and Jana.
Yeah. But I don't think I remember anything like that.
It's the only time I've had that experience. I had and I didn't know this before I went into surgery because no one told me. That was when, that was the time before when Todd died. I had a cousin who passed away in Iraq. This was during the Gulf War. And I didn't know. And I had an experience where
you kind of felt something.
Yes. And I just felt because I remember saying to my aunt and uncle afterwards that
or did something happen?
Todd is with them. that Todd is with God. That like I just felt this that God holds on to you till the last second because your soul belongs to him. It's not yours. It's not anyone else's. Your soul comes from him, and he holds on till that last second. And I just felt like Todd was with him because my dad was still with us when I had that experience.
Wow.
And I didn't know that he was gone because they didn't tell me till after I came out of my surgery and I had recuperated. But I knew Todd was with him.
Did you have anything like that surgery related?
Not surgery related. I have 2 instances, and actually maybe 3. When you know something, like you get this bad vibe, like, and I'll tell you that the last time when shit went down with the last stuff, and I told you, I said something don't feel right. I'm like, something's not right. And sure enough, 3 days later, I get all this bullshit that's coming down lately.
Yeah.
That's one.
Your health. Your health.
Yeah.
Like there is no doubt in my mind. I don't care what you believe about God or what your religious beliefs are, but there's something greater than us that holds on.
Yeah.
And it holds on until the last.
You're kind of connected.
It's the Borg.
You're connected to something that we can't understand.
No.
And the first time I had this experience, I would say, I don't remember if it's before or after I think it was before I got married. I was on my honeymoon in Jamaica. And
if you were on your honeymoon, it was after you were married.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, but there was a second experience that I think I couldn't remember. So on my honeymoon in Jamaica, we were at a resort, and my ex-wife ended up getting sick. So she saw sick bay. They gave her like some kind of Robitussin plus, knocked her out for like 2 days. So I went down and I partied with the locals, and I was like,
your wife is dying in the hospital and you go
no,
party.
She wasn't dying. She was just asleep. She had there was a bunch of cats, and they said, don't get close to the cats. And she like petted one of the cats, and there's some kind of like cold you get from the cats or whatever. So she was, and I would check on her, and there's nothing I could do. Like
cat leukemia.
She's knocked out from like this Robitussin crap they gave her. So I went to the end of the resort, and I'm playing music with the guys, and I ended up giving him we brought a case of American cigarettes. So I ended up giving him like a bunch of the American cigarettes because I didn't smoke at the time. And then when she woke up and we went out to dinner, she cursed me out. She started a big fight. And I was like, what the fuck is your problem? I'm like, we're on this beautiful fucking remote island.
I know.
And I'm like, you're worried about a pack of cigarettes? I'm like, we can get cigarettes anywhere. And she just put up this big fight about these cigarettes. And anyways, I really questioned a lot that night, but that's the night that my cousin passed away from leukemia or breast cancer. And I always felt that was like her way of saying, like, listen, this is her true nature. This is what you're going to be up against. And, like it was a big thing, like when we were there. So that was number one. Number two, I remember I was sitting in bed, and I got this feeling like I'm going to be being sucked into this porthole, like I'm free falling, and I'm falling asleep. It's like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so intense. I can't stop. And all of a sudden it was like calm, and I'm floating above myself, and I could see myself on the bed below. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm right there. I'm like, holy. And then it just like kind of like that. I was back in my body, and I woke up like breathing real heavy, and I didn't know what to think of it. And then I talked to this one girl. She's like, "Dude, you totally had an out of body experience. You ought to get this book and like read about it." I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't into it at the time. Like, I didn't look at it, but
No, I never had anything like that. And the last time I had surgery, I actually had an experience where I had a problem with the pain medication they were giving me. My body just was not processing. And I had taken I hadn't had pain medication all day, and it was nighttime, and I took some pain medication. And the next thing I remember the nurse coming in and saying, "Do you want some pain meds?" And I said, "Sure, I'm getting ready to go to sleep, and it'll help me sleep." And the next thing I remember is everyone standing over my bed. "Are you all right? Are you okay?" Well, they had Narcan me because when the nurse came back,
she's a junkie.
yeah, when the nurse came back, I was unresponsive and I was panting.
That's not always a bad thing.
Well, if someone else were on top of me, but they weren't. But
Nathan's la 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 la, I can't hear you.
But like when you're Narcan, it's like every neuron in your body is firing. Like you can't imagine how awake you are when you're Narcan. Like you have never been more awake in your life than you are in that second.
I think there's just I know a bunch of people, or I know people,
but I didn't have any experience that time. In my mind, I just fell asleep. I didn't know any different.
Yeah. I know some people that take mushrooms mushrooms, and they're like, they always say there's something that our bodies are not in tune with, that only that kind of thing can get you in tune with.
Well, like
something other than.
That's why I think the first experience I had is real, and there's more to it than I can remember now. But because when I had the Narcan experience, I don't remember anything. Like in my mind, I had just fallen asleep. Like I didn't know what the BFD was. Like, what's the big deal? And then the next thing I knew, he was back, and like,
and that was hours later because they didn't get a hold of me for hours.
And I'm being wheeled into MRI, and they're looking for blood clots and all this, and like blah 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 blah.
I'm honestly, I hope that's what death is like. That it's just kind of you slip into a consciousness. You're just like just peacefulness.
Well, when I had my experience,
because that does scare the fuck out of me.
No, it was peaceful, and everyone I knew was there, and I just felt like no matter what happened to me, whether I lived or died, everything was okay. It was covered. Like it's good.
Well, that was that sense
Everyone's
of peace you said. Absolutely. And I hope we all get that. Like, because I often think about it. Like sometimes it freaks me out. I'm like, one day I'm not going to be here. One day's my ticket's going to be pulled.
Well, either you are just dead and that's it. You don't know the difference, or it's the experience I had and everything is peaceful and everyone I cared about was there.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. And at that point, what difference does it make?
Well, I hope it's
if
peaceful.
You don't know, you don't know. Yeah. And if it's
the hickers.
If it's what I believe and there's a beyond, then it's peaceful. And I believe that God holds on to the last second. So if you're someone who has waited to make their decision,
those hiccups are the demons trying to come out.
If you wait till the last minute to make your decision, he holds on till the end. and he will hold on to the end. That's my experience. Like the experience that I had, my dad told me my cousin was with him. And that brought peace because our family didn't know if he had made his choice. And he did at the very last second. And I believe in a God who holds on to the last second. And if you make your decision in the last second, he's going to accept you. No matter what you've done for for all of your life that you were here, he's going to hold on. And now I've crossed the line between opinion and religion. But
thank you, Debbie Divergent.
For 100 episodes, we didn't do any religion or politics.
Yeah, this is deep, man. I'm enjoying
but
this.
It doesn't.
But it's not really religious. It's spiritual.
It's spiritual, and there's a huge difference.
I'm not religious in any aspect.
But so I'm not afraid to say I'm a Christian. But Jesus wasn't religious either. And he was very clear about that.
I love to hear people's opinions and what they think. Because, quite oftentimes I keep this shit to myself. I don't want to talk about it. And I do.
But why
the older I get, I do get scared of thinking man, I'm like, and am I going to be held when I die? Am I going to be held in front of this this is what you've done. Look what you've done, and you could have gone this way. You could have gone that way. Well, you don't know.
It's one of the things that we talk about on some of these political issues,
There we go. We're over the line.
No, it's not over the line. It doesn't matter what you think about this or that. When I die, in my belief, when I die and I stand before my God, he's not going to ask me, what did you think about abortion? What did you think about gay marriage? He's going to ask me, what did you do about the time I gave you? What did you do with the time I gave you? Yeah. He's not going to ask me about the political issues of the day. He doesn't care about that. He's timeless.
And I'll say, I was martial fucking law.
Right in you go, sir. Wait, hang on, martial law coming right in. Move aside.
I'll answer for what I did.
Push your stab out of the way.
Absolutely. I'll answer for what I did, not for what you did or the neighbor next door or this celebrity or that celebrity. Me.
We don't know. I used to follow the studies of Walt Whitman and
the bridge.
Yes, the bridge.
Yes, he was a person. But he viewed that when he died, he did nothing but just go into the ground and sprout up as a tree or something or a bush or.
I don't believe it.
When you die, you die. That's it. You're done.
I don't.
There's nothing after
that. But that's
death.
just me. You can believe what you believe, and Walt Whitman can believe.
I've also talked to Chinese people, and they said,
whoa, dude, why you gotta go there?
They said. What did you know before you were born? Nothing. Exactly. That's the same thing you'll know when you're dead. And I'm like, interesting.
I hope that's not true.
I used to always think, you get all the answers and you have all this knowledge, and now I don't believe shit.
I don't know what to believe. I mean, you can go with a God that says that this is what you're to expect. Mm-hmm. Or you can go with the Muslim God.
I just look at the universe all around us, and I can't believe that it just happened.
Go ahead, Nathan.
From a scientific perspective, I can't believe that it just happened.
No, I don't think so either.
I believe in a creator.
Our universe is fine-tuned to a point. The easiest way to describe it as a box with a bunch of knobs, and this knob controls the density of hydrogen. This controls the mass of hydrogen. This controls the amount of this in the universe.
But those knobs can never be changed because those things don't change.
Well,
Yeah, let's
but
throw 'em out.
but if
You're saying it's a knob.
But
that
it's
you could
just
turn.
happenstance.
but if any single one of these things, any of these knobs were changed even by the smallest measurement, life could not exist.
Oh, yeah, I agree
Anyway.
with that. I agree with. I agree 100% with that.
I don't care what you call him, but I think there's a creator.
Yeah.
And
I think it's
that's take on the world jumping the shark.
I
That's
think it's-
100 episodes, dude.
This has got to be like a Black Vault episode.
No, that's evolution.
But you think of like I always thought about like if there's a creator, because I remember I always used to ask the nuns at school when I was in Catholic school. I was like,
That's your first problem.
I said, who created us? And I'm like, what? I'm like, who created us? I'm like, God. I'm like, well, who created God?
God was.
So
and
you
always
teach
was.
us there's always got to be a mother and a father or somebody to create something. So if there's God who created that, what's the linear, like our creator did not come out of nothing.
No, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. What do you think the Holy Spirit is? Mother. Father, Son.
Yeah, but when you
mother.
talk about the whole universe as colliding together, exploding, whatever,
Father, Son,
I don't know.
Holy
I can't
Spirit.
explain it.
Eh,
It's
in-
mind blowing.
In biblical terms,
What it was Q and the Borg.
no. In ancient terms, the Holy Spirit was always in the feminine. Now you want to get into feminism?
Who? You.
Father,
No,
Son,
Oh
Holy
my God,
Spirit.
you're slamming this episode right into the vault right from the get go.
Holy Spirit is always feminine. There's not a son without the father and the mother. Father,
That's another
Son,
rivet.
Holy Spirit.
That's another rivet. That's another rivet.
Just how far do we go back with who created us?
But remember, I come from an opinion background. My 30, well, not 30 years.
Almost 30.
Experience, but the last 10.
It was 30.
Well, since he was born, has been opinion broadcasting. That's my opinion. And you can have another opinion, and that's okay. I don't mind that. Doesn't bother me. My opinion's my opinion. Your opinion's your opinion. But Father, Son, Holy Spirit, in ancient terms, the Holy Spirit was always the feminine. You can't have the Son without the Father and the Mother. Game over, as
Done.
Jackie would say.
Yeah, done. I don't think we talked about any of the episodes that we
Nothing.
did. We went
No.
on it, which is good. Which is good. I think
But-
this was a
but
good episode.
See, that's the thing. That's how this started. These conversations, despite the fact that it was very religious and we don't do religion or politics,
but I'm kind
that's
of
how these conversations go. That's how these conversations go.
But they're not religious. I didn't once claim.
Yeah, it wasn't uncomfortable though.
No.
No,
You
it wasn't
know,
uncomfortable.
But these are conversations that real
are
people have
yeah,
every
real
day.
people have and think about
Every
every
day.
day. You know?
Every day.
And I respect that. That's what you think every day, you know. And I would never know that unless we would have had this podcast.
So now me and Nathan are going to have a conversation on who's more powerful, an elf or a dwarf.
Who's more powerful, Nathan?
An elf or a dwarf? It
Elf.
really depends. It really depends.
It doesn't depend on anything. An elf is.
I'd have to ask Lexi. She would know.
Well,
You're wrong.
I have a weapon. I'm correct.
But like to me, that's the beauty of things. We should be able to talk about things. We should be able to
Yeah.
disagree.
Yeah, so we were able to have an intelligent conversation without getting into an argument.
And,
No.
and it's two
And that was great.
diametrically opposite positions too. Like really,
Yeah.
because you're not really religious, and she
Yeah,
is.
I'm not religious at all, but I have questions. I was born religious.
But I don't
or
think of myself as religious. I think of myself as a person of faith, and there's a huge difference.
Right.
A huge difference.
Well, then I would
So
be
for
the
anyone
opposite.
listening, if you're not a person of religion, it doesn't mean that you're not a person of faith. There's a difference. Jesus didn't leave people of religion either.
You sounded so much like Eileen when you said that.
Which Eileen?
Stop whispering.
Why are we whispering?
It's so queer. There it is. There it is.
You would know.
To here.
You would know. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because I have lots of friends who would claim that. And I love them just the same.
Well, I mean, listen,
Don't get me started on that either.
Please.
You can delete this now. I'm done.
So
this is how
our second most popular episode. No, like honestly,
I feel like this is
No
gonna
sex,
be a good
no
episode.
religion, no politics.
honestly, like it was a great discussion.
These are discussions that people have every fucking
And
day.
that's what this podcast started as.
Yes.
Yeah.
And these were discussions that we had. We just decided in the
Not to
beginning.
I don't think this would be a discussion between me and you. We could never have this discussion
Why?
because you don't.
He and I
You're
have this
different than-
discussion all the time.
I would never bring this up to you.
I have no faith in anything anymore.
I would never ask you the stuff that I ask her.
Why?
I don't click like that with him. Like we don't. It's just not something that ever comes up.
You just don't swing that way.
He swings that way.
No, we just you're right. We like have other.
I think because our
I'm seeing
our standard has always been no politics, no religion. I think with John and me, like we both felt that it could be a toxic conversation for us.
I mean, it has a lot of potential to go that way. Just in general, because some of that stuff, especially for a lot of people, is very sensitive.
No, like me and my
Sure.
friends, we are very different. You know, I'm very conservative. Most of my friends
Politics
are very
Politics.
no, just in life views are very liberal. Sorry, John. Like I think
insulted me.
politically, I am very conservative,
Well, I'm going to
but
tell you
on
this right
other
now.
issues, I'm very liberal.
I enjoyed the topic. It was fun to talk about that with somebody.
It was
I
fluid.
don't think that we could ever have that conversation.
I think we could.
You should be able to
I
have
don't know,
that
like,
conversation with
maybe.
every fucking person in your life.
But it seemed more like just genuine
More
between me
pretzels.
and
It was
Yeah.
fluid.
it was fluid.
Yeah.
If
And it
I
wasn't
wanted
always
two
just like
pretzels, I'll fucking choose pretzels.
it wasn't all like religious. It was like outer body experience things and like little things like that. So
I mean, it's a lot of interesting stuff. And I mean, that was a fluid conversation.
So, when you had your surgery, you had no experience. I only had
don't-
one.
I know that he threw up in the hallway.
Did I tell you all about the time I threw up in the hallway?
Why did you bring that up?
John,
give me that
What
fucking
did you
puffer.
think about after your surgery when you were laying there? Like,
Lots of things.
I'm going to tell you something. That's honestly something I would like to know. That is a very good question because I wouldn't ask you because I know
I know you were
that-
struggling.
you were struggling.
I know.
There's a lot that I don't remember, and there's some that I do. And some of what I do remember is, oh my God, how long have I been here? I want to go home.
So for those who just tuned into our 100th episode, why? Number one. Number two, Nathaniel last year had a brain tumor, had surgery, and while he was having surgery, had a stroke on the table. And when he came out of the stroke, he could not move his left side. He could barely talk. It wasn't even coherent
Yeah,
talking.
so what
So I'm wondering, and John had a great question. What exactly were you thinking during that time? I don't know how I deal with that. You have dealt with this better than I ever would have.
Like when you were, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
But
I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm gonna.
I have to. I'm sorry. I have to get my point across. So when you came to, you realized that like, okay, I know where I'm at right now.
Did you?
I know
when you came to. Sorry, John.
No, she
But when
doesn't
you
mean to
came
cut you
to-
off.
You cut me off now. I'll
Cut him
cut you
and
off
I'm gonna
again.
cut you off. But did you realize when you came to that you are not the same as when you went in? Because this is important. Like, so if someone's watching who is coming out of a surgery like this, did you know when you came to that you are not the same?
I'm gonna be very honest. Like when I first, for the longest time, I didn't know that I couldn't see to my left. In my head, I was just up against a wall. There was nothing to my left.
Mm.
But there was, because he was on my left. But he was on my left, but there had to be a wall there because I couldn't see anything. I didn't make the connection that I couldn't move, but I knew I couldn't move because the doctors were telling me I couldn't move, but I could move. I just didn't.
So
I stayed on your
what-
left side on purpose.
What
I know.
what did you say to yourself once you knew that like, okay, I can't see to my left, my left arm's not where? What got you through that? What did you say to yourself to make you where you are now?
I just did. Because
Like what made
else
you
was
power
I gonna
through?
do? I wasn't gonna just stop and let this keep me down. Like I was gonna keep on moving because I had to get better. I knew in my head I had to, and I wanted to.
So just pure determination.
Determination.
Were you mad?
You could see it in his eyes when they
No.
would ask him a question.
We had Nathan and I had a moment in the hospital where you broke down.
Did I?
When Dad went to his appointment, and you and I both bawled our eyeballs out. And I remember saying to you, "That's okay. It's okay to feel sorry for
Jesus
yourself."
Christ, I bawled my eyeballs out when I heard about it. And fucking
That's okay. You're 19 years old. It's okay because you shouldn't be going through this.
yeah.
It's okay to cry.
But
It's
guess what?
okay.
He did. You muscled through. Look what you're doing now, man.
Yeah. Like I said, some of it was I was definitely angry, frustrated, sad, upset, all of the above.
Did you use that like frustration to like kind of power you through?
Some points.
Like,
yes.
fuck this. I ain't gonna be this way.
Like it just the first couple of weeks, some of it's hard to remember because number one, I just came out of a brain surgery. They just took an ice cream scoop out of my head. And I mean, for the most part, I had.
Oh, that we got ice cream and I didn't get any?
Well, I didn't get to keep it. Okay.
Well, neither did I, dude. It's okay.
I tried where I could consciously to have good spirits through it because I knew that was going to help me through it. I don't know if I was consistently good spirited through it all.
I think that's just
hold
a
on,
picture.
hold on. I gotta say, you were belligerent at some points. When the doctor would come in,
Especially in
No.
that first week.
No, not belligerent like you or I would be.
no, but like he would be,
Quiet.
like
Quiet.
you absolutely refused to even acknowledge the doctor talking to you when he asked you to do something that you could not do.
It was like no one else was there.
Some of it even was, I remember, sometimes everything would just shut off. Like I would zone out, but just, it's not like there's nothing going on and I just zone out. I would just be in the middle of something. And
You just kind of had enough.
but it
You
wasn't,
can't process
some
it.
of it wasn't
Right.
conscious, especially in that first week. And I'm not denying there certainly probably was times where I just
Sure.
didn't acknowledge it.
Your body
Because
probably
I didn't
hit
want to
overload.
accept the fact that I couldn't see, like I knew I couldn't see to my left, but I was seeing to my left in my head. There just was a wall there, but my dad's there, but there's nothing there. There's a wall there. I can't see over there.
Well, and I think it's important to talk about like that stuff because someone else may hear this who's going through it and needs to know you can power through this.
Yeah, they're
you
not
can
alone.
find the strength.
Right.
You can do it. What you went through can help someone else.
I would imagine that's a pretty lonely place.
I'm going to say that I would never have handled it as well as you have. I just wouldn't have.
You see, like I said, I went through it because I had to. I wanted to. I would say things like, oh, well, I got my Eagle, or I graduated high school, or I did this. I'm not stopping now because I didn't want to. I couldn't let myself stop. I couldn't. I had to keep on going, and I
would
did.
never quit.
You would, because you don't have a choice.
And you'll find when you go through something like that, when you at your absolute weakest, you will find that you are far stronger than you ever could have known. Because before that, I'd look at people and think, I could never go through that. Well, I did. And I think you could too. You might not realize it, but
I couldn't have handled the way you did. I would be belligerent the way I am. I would never give up because that's not in me. You never gave up because that's
but
not
I'll
in
tell you what.
But
I would be a belligerent,
he had
nasty
but you
person.
wouldn't, because you
no.
weren't when you
Listen.
had your
He
surgery.
had you guys there with him,
I had good support.
so he had good support as well. If you had good support, I think that you would be able to make it through.
But
I'd
he
hold-
did.
I'd hold
when
your
he
hands
had
when
his
you get your
surgery,
shots.
You weren't mean to anyone. You weren't
My knee surgery,
belligerent.
that's different.
No, you weren't. You
My-
weren't.
My
You had double knee surgery.
I remember you whacking out like,
Transplants.
I'm going to be an amputee.
Well,
My legs are going to be gone.
Double-
hold on.
double
When-
amputee.
hold on. When you think about that surgery, when you think about
Yeah,
a
I
knee
remember.
replacement,
Yeah,
like that scared the shit out of me.
I remember.
But when I had it done, I knew that they were going to get me up and make me walk the first day, which they did. 3 steps, but I walked the first day. The
Yeah.
second day, I had to walk. The third day, I had to do stairs or I couldn't come home. So the not quit in me had me do that stuff. But I knew that what they did was making me, what he went through is what they did made him not him. And that has to be the hardest thing in the world.
But he is still him.
But he wasn't.
Well, in my head,
I wouldn't
for
say
some
that.
of it, I was me. I just
Absolutely.
didn't know
What
that
makes
I
him
wasn't
not
me on
him?
the outside.
Well, like I look at it like physically, you may not. Like one of the things that I took away from your surgery, and one of the things I was thankful for, because when we were down in Philly,
Yeah, good Chinese food.
I sat in the
Pizza that I still haven't had since.
Angelo's Pizza.
the family area, and I was bawling my eyeballs out. And there was another guy there whose son couldn't have surgery, and he was going home with hospice care. And I remember thinking, my son is coming home, and he has to, it may not be perfect, and he may have struggles ahead of him, but he's coming home, and he has a whole life ahead of him. And this guy's son is coming home to die because they can't operate. And in that was power, that my son, no matter what he faces, has me, he has him, he has a family and a support system who loves him. And he's going to come out this other side. He might not be the same as when he went in, but he is coming out of it. He's
Right.
coming home.
Yeah.
And I think if you are in that situation, that's what you take out of it. And no matter what he has to do, he spent how many weeks in rehab?
7.
He's back.
Only
in college.
7.
It's amazing.
He's back in college. He took a semester
You're
off.
back working.
He's back in college.
Honors college.
He's working. He rocks. My kid, our kid rocks.
Hell yeah.
And your kid can too, and your kid and your kid, and just be there for them. Don't let someone else dictate your outcome. And that's what you have done. That's what we as a family, as a community,
It's a strong kid, man.
have done.
Proud of you, Nate.
Didn't do it on
Nathan.
his own, though.
Takes a village.
Hey,
It's all
I had an
right.
idol to look up to. Marshall MF. But stuff like that.
Martial law would have been digging his hole. You did that.
Stuff like
dude.
that.
I would have been
Help.
digging my hole and then crawling back out of it. That's what I would have been doing.
You did it, dude. You did that.
I know.
No, it would, dude. It all you.
We are proud of you. We
But
are so proud
John
of
knows
you.
how much I talk about how proud I am of you. Your mom knows, and I've told you, but I don't think you realize how proud I am of you.
We are proud of you.
Thank you.
So,
I tried
episode 100.
I tried to keep this.
Didn't talk about the podcast at all.
I tried to
Fuck
keep this big
that.
bear positive through the whole thing, through a bunch of things. We've been through some shit, Mike.
Yeah.
But that's what it takes.
That's what I'm
And-
here for.
And that's what it takes. It takes friends. When you go through some shit, it takes your family. It takes your
Can't
friends.
do it on your own.
It takes a whole lot of
You
people to get
See-
through
Can't do it
something
on your
like
own.
John helped me by taking me to Colorado, elk hunting,
that. That was before all this shit.
avoiding a bear attack.
A moose attack.
No, a
That's-
bear attack. That one night when I was sitting in that tent.
Oh, yeah.
That's what
Or me
family
snoring.
and friends are for. And no matter what you're going through, if you're taking on the world, 99 episodes, 100 episodes, no matter what you're going
1,000
through,
episodes.
it takes
1
lot of
million.
absolutely. It takes a whole lot of shit to get through this life.
So this episode will not be titled 99 episodes of Take on the World on the Wall. This will be titled This is what Take on the World is.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
That show.
Take on my world, take on your world, take on the world.
And we took on this world. Now you go take on the world.
Every day.
Every day. And just know you're never alone.
This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the shit show 2.0.
Okay, boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill. You want to be my wife?
Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.